Alrighty, folks. I had a request to do a video, kind of sharing my experiences with the Alberta Tactical Rifle Supply Modern Hunter, the Robinson Armament XCR-M rifle, and the BCl-102, which is sitting right in front of me here, and just kind of talk about kind of the differences and my opinions on them. Okay, so the quick of it is they're all great rifles, and I would say they're all great for different reasons. So I'm going to get into that a little bit. So the first out of those three I owned was Robinson Armament XCR-M with the heavy barrel and the 1913 Picatinny rail forend. It was a good rifle. It was very front heavy, and I'm not a fan of really front heavy firearms. And part of the problem with that firearm is what makes it so front heavy is the stock on the rear is very light, so it really enhances that front heaviness. I really didn't like that, although the rifle shot very reliably, so I got rid of that rifle. Later on, I ended up getting one of the XCR-Ms with a light profile barrel, and I really liked that one. It balanced very nicely, and it was nice and light. Okay, shooting it, I had one of the ones. So if you're unfamiliar with it, it's not really a problem. It's just the gas tube. So what the piston moves inside of wasn't really super tight spec, so it had a little bit of movement to it, and that affected the harmonics of the rifle, so you couldn't really get it to group very well, and sometimes it would make it string. I sent that in to Wolverine Supplies, who's the Canadian distributor for them, and they fixed that problem for me, so basically installed it with a tighter spec tube and sent it back to me. I shot it some and thought it was inaccurate, but in reality it actually was my hand loads that were the problem. Basically what was happening is I was getting an inconsistent crimp because my length of my cases was not uniform. So basically the velocities were varying and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't actually the rifle's fault, and I ended up giving up and selling that rifle, and then discovering shortly after that it was my hand loads that were the problem. I didn't really sell it. It was getting about 2 to 3 MOA, which actually isn't even that bad. It's basically designed as a battle rifle anyways. So if you want something that's uber reliable, and that you could pretty much, take into battle or run through really tough situations with, like getting mud on it and all that kind of stuff, I would probably go with the XCR-M out of all three of these rifles for that reason. So it's the battle rifle out of the three, is what I'm going to say, okay? Once we get into kind of the Alberta Tactical Rifle Modern Hunter, I got that because I wanted to try a direct impingement precision rifle and see how that went. And I thought it'd be more accurate than the XCR was. So it was more accurate. I ended up buying one with a heavy profile barrel and 7mm mod 8. It was a 20-inch barrel. It shot a group about the size of the tip of my pinky, which is not very big. What's that? Probably half an inch. So that's pretty good. That's really good. I ended up switching the barrel because I wanted to shoot 308 because I reload for 308 and I wasn't set up for 7mm mod 8. And then also just get a cheaper barrel so I could shoot surplus out of it if I wanted to. So I ended up buying a used Remington R25 barrel in 308 and installing it on there. And because the Alberta Tactical Rifle Modern Hunter takes SR25 pattern barrels, like the DPMS barrel extension, it worked perfectly, which was nice. I shot that for a bit. I didn't get a chance to work up any hand loads for it, but I did sell it. It's just too much money locked up in one gun is what it was, essentially. So I sold it. The guy who bought it from me said he was getting half MOA, which is awesome. He was hand loading. I didn't actually ask him what the recipe was. Probably should contact him and ask him what that was. But anyways, he was getting really good groups with it, which is good to hear. And so after that, I kind of heard that these BCl-102s were in the making, and we were waiting for a classification. Of course, as per usual in the Canadian market, every time they say there's going to be an update, you can pretty much multiply it by 3 or 4 before it actually comes out. So I mean, they were like, oh, it's going to be like a month or two, and like, yeah, it was like a few months. before we actually got an update on the FRT number, and that's not their fault. That's the RCMP being jerks as usual. But so it came out with the FRT. South Frontenac Rental came out with, because they're a distributor, they came out with the pre-order, and I missed the pre-order because my shift started right when the pre-order came up, which really sucked. And but I managed to get on a pre-order from one of the retailers that bought some of them. So luckily I got one from the first run, which is really nice. I'm really happy about it. And before I get into that, I'm going to jump back to the Modern Hunter really quick because I didn't touch on reliability with it. It was very reliable. I think I had like one stoppage, and I shot maybe total a couple hundred rounds out of it. So, it's not terrible. And I think the stoppage was user-induced, if I remember correctly. Actually, you know what it was? It was the Norinco ammo, because it's a kind of a weak ammo. It didn't cycle the action very well, and the buffer spring was pretty tight. Pretty strong. That's what it was. So it wasn't really the rifle's fault. So that rifle's a really good rifle. If you're kind of on the fence and you kind of like the Modern Hunter more, I say go for it. The side charging handle's good. It's got good ergos. It's super quality made. There's no play between the upper and lower, and it was designed that way because the upper fits on a trunnion. And that trunnion kind of eliminates upper and lower play, which is really awesome. It's a really cool design, actually. The customer service, for me talking to other people with Modern Hunters, has been spotty at best. So it's hard to justify that kind of price when they're not going to follow up with it. But I mean, if you really push it, they're going to sure as hell fix it for how much you paid for it. But those are kind of the upper end, higher quality semi-autos. So those are pretty darn accurate. They come with really high quality match barrels, so that really helps with the accuracy. And that'll bring us to the BCl-102, which I was just kind of talking about. Sorry, I'm jumping back and forth a little bit. But so this one's kind of mid-level. It's hard to compare with the XCR because the XCR-M is a piston-driven rifle, whereas this is direct impingement. So I mean, they're really different animals to begin with. The XCR felt, if I remember correctly, a little bit lighter than this rifle, but this rifle does have a medium profile barrel, so it's pretty thick. And the fluting doesn't really take a ton of weight off. There's only fluting on probably the front half of the barrel, last 6 inches or 8 inches. So this rifle's a little bit heftier. It still balances very nicely, which is really important to me. And it's not too heavy. I just say it's like on the heavy side, but not heavy. You may notice I switched the handguard out. It doesn't look like a standard BCl-102. I did that for a couple reasons. First of all, I like Tiborosaurus Rex's videos, and his AR-10 is really awesome. I really like the look of it. So I basically got the exact same handguard as him to kind of clone it a little bit. So this is an Armalite free float handguard, and that's literally what it's called. And it comes with a sling attachment, which I have my bipod attached to, which is nice. So I don't have to buy some stupid adapter that costs like $40. So I put that on. I changed that out. I didn't get to remove the barrel. I tried to take the barrel off this. So when I took the barrel nut off, I tried to take the barrel out, but it wouldn't really budge. It kind of moved a little bit, but then it kind of got stuck and it wouldn't come out. So I was like, I'm not going to push it. And I just put the barrel back in and installed my handguard. So not sure about the barrel extension just yet, what it's compatible with. I suspect it's going to be an Armalite AR-10 compatible, but we'll see. By the way, the threads on the barrel nut, if you're not sure about that, those are Armalite. Anyways, so this one has the same ergos as an AR-10, exact same. This one comes with an ambidextrous safety and not ambidextrous magazine and bolt release. So the next model is supposed to come with both ambidextrous, I believe, magazine and bolt release. So that'll be neat. Next run will be ambidextrous for those lefties out there. This rifle has run really well. I have had stoppages with it, but they were magazine related, so I was using the XCR-M magazines, and for some reason they don't like to mate up with the Norinco surplus ammo. So basically I was getting fail to feed, so it'd be like halfway up the ramp and then jam. So but it worked with all my other ammo, my hand loads, Hurtenberger surplus, and some factory ammo I shot out of it. So, but I ended up selling those because for the price of one of those, I can get like 2 PMags. So I was like, yeah, I don't really care about the 10 round mag capacity. So I'm using PMags right now, as you can see. If you're wondering what those sounds are, it's my cat. She's a stalker. She follows me wherever I go, and she goes meow meow meow, like an idiot cat. Aren't you? You're just a dummy. Anyways, back to the rifle. Okay, so it's reliable. Upper and lower fit, there's no play, which is actually pretty amazing because it's just the standard kind of pins, front and rear pins. And then it comes with a dust cover, which people like, because I mean everyone wants a gun that they can go to war with for some reason, even though they're never going to. But it keeps debris out if you're hunting and stuff, so I guess that's useful. The stock, not a big fan of the stock. It feels cheap. It's uber light, and somebody's already broken theirs. Because if you get a jam, you got to do the old kind of mortar on the ground and rack the chamber. If you do have to do that, retract your stock all the way before you do, so that the buffer tube is against the back here and it gives it support, because if not, it's just this hollow tube and you're going to crack it open. So that's what the other person had done. What else is there to say? I mean, the stock muzzle brake's pretty good. It's kind of dirty right now. It works just fine, and I'll probably keep it for now, for a while. Yeah, so why do I have this rifle over those other two rifles? So I really love the XCR-M, and with the price difference between this rifle and that rifle, it's a tough choice, because the XCR-M has proven reliability, and this one, not so much yet. I have like 350 rounds through this rifle without many stoppages, and most of them were just that Norco ammo with the XCR-M magazines. So, I mean, it's been running like a champ so far, so I do like that. And I'm not a huge fan of the direct impingement system, but I'm becoming more and more of a fan of it as I've kind of gone along in my hobby. So nowadays I'm kind of really liking that direct impingement. It's just lighter and simpler. I mean, it's nice. If you're going to compare this, the easiest thing to do would be to compare this against the ATRS Modern Hunter, because they're just kind of similar. Obviously, the ATRS Modern Hunter is going to be more accurate because it's got a match barrel in it. It's a fancier rifle, and I know people are going to rag on it because, it's got a DPMS bolt and blah, blah, blah. Whatever, it works. It's fine. It's a good rifle. I recommend it if you can afford it. For people like me who, for instance, I'm going back to school right now, so I can't afford a super, super nice rifle. I've had to sell off a lot of my guns, and I need to cover multiple rolls with one gun. So this gun fits perfectly. This one's $1,700, which sounds expensive, but it's cheap for a non-restricted semi-auto in Canada. It makes liberals, pee themselves, which is nice, because, oh my god, he has an AR-15, and he's out in the forest with it, oh my god. Well, it's not an AR-15, but I am going to be out in the forest with it. So that's nice. It's not to scare people, but, it's just those crazy anti-gun people, gives them the middle finger. And I'm surprised the RCMP let this through, but I think it's different enough. The receiver dimensions are different, and the bolt dimensions are different, like bolt carry group. So I don't think it's actually possible to flip a AR-308 upper on there and shoot it or anything. So I think we're good to go with that. Well, we have to be, because, otherwise they would have classed it different. I am rambling, and so that's usually when I've gone through all my kind of major points I want to go through. If you're kind of on the fence about which of those three to get, I would go for this one, personally. You're getting the most value out of your dollar for this rifle. The XCR-M is probably next up. You can get them used for about $2,000, so that's not that much more, and you're getting kind of a really fancy, nice rifle. Side folder, by the way, they come with a side folding stock, so you can fold it up and put it in a smaller bag, which is nice. It's going to be more reliable no matter what. I suspect the XCR-Ms, they're just awesome guns. But they're not going to be that accurate. So this one, it's showing potential, but I haven't figured it out just yet. So the best group I've gotten with this one is 1.5 MOA, whereas with the Modern Hunter, I got half MOA. So that kind of shows you the difference between that. And, you know, that's because we're getting a premium barrel with the Modern Hunter. And we're paying for that premium barrel. You're paying extra for it. So if you want to put a premium barrel on this, once we figure out what the barrel extension's like, maybe we can throw some AR-10 barrels on there, some match grade ones, and see what the accuracy's like. But I like my rifle to not have a match grade barrel because it's more reliable with surplus ammo. And I like to use surplus ammo for plinking because it's cheaper than reloading. So, yeah. So this is why this rifle is best for me. Okay, it can shoot surplus. It can shoot hand loads reasonably well so far. Can shoot factory ammo okay. It seems to be a little picky so far. I shot some factory ammo. I went through that in my accuracy report video, so you can watch that. I'm not going to ramble on about that too much, but my best groups are with 150 grain so far, 1.5 MOA. So I think that kind of covers most things that people are going to ask about. So, I mean, there's my experience and my opinions on all these rifles, but I think your best bang for your buck's this one. So, sorry about all the rambling, but people were asking for this video, and I don't have a lot of time to sit down and redo the video a few times to make everything flow properly. So, anyways, thanks for watching, guys.